Most families who lose financial aid money don't lose it because they forgot to file. They lose it because they filed wrong and never knew it. If you're sitting down to fill out the FAFSA for the first time, or you're doing it again this year and something has changed in your household, this FAFSA Walkthrough 2026 is exactly what you need. By the end of this video, you're going to know every section of the form in order, where the traps are, and what to do at each decision point so you don't leave money on the table. And the one section where families consistently misreport, turning a free application into thousands of lost aid, is exactly the one you'd think you can power through. I'll show you why before the end. Let's get into it. Take Marisol. Early 50s, lives in Houston, got her youngest son, he's 18, starting college in fall 2026, ready to go. She's been through paperwork before. She reads every instruction twice, catches the fine print. But this year, her situation is a little complicated. She changed jobs mid-year, which left a gap in her reported income. Her household assets also shifted after a refinance. She's not panicking, she's methodical. But even Marisol, sitting down with her stylus and her tablet, hit a wall in two specific sections. We'll come back to that. First, the setup. You file the FAFSA at StudentAid.gov. If you don't already have a StudentAid.gov account with a linked FSA ID, create that before you do anything else. Both the student and one parent need their own FSA IDs, separate email addresses, separate accounts. Don't share login credentials between parent and child. That's a common stall point that delays the whole process. Once you're in, you'll hit the dashboard and start a new FAFSA for the 2026 award year. The form is organized in roughly 5 major sections: student information, dependency questions, parent information, financial information, and school list. I'll walk you through each one. Student information is straightforward: legal name, date of birth, social security number. Make sure the name matches exactly what's on the social security card, not a nickname, not a middle name substitution. A mismatch here can flag the form and delay processing. You'll also list your citizenship status, marital status, and whether you have a high school diploma or GED. This section shouldn't take more than 5 minutes if you have your documents nearby. Then you hit the dependency questions, and this is the fork in the road. The FAFSA uses a series of yes or no questions to determine whether you're classified as a dependent or independent student.
If you answer yes to any of them, are you 24 or older? Are you a veteran? Are you married? Do you have dependents of your own? You skip the parent section entirely. If you answer no to all of them, you're classified as dependent, and the parent financial information becomes required. This matters enormously because independent students report only their own finances. Dependent students pull in a parent's income and asset data. Here's the thing that trips people up. Some students try to answer these questions in a way that gets them classified as independent when they're not. That's a federal verification issue. The form is checked against IRS records. Don't do it. Marisol's son is 18, enrolled in a degree program, unmarried, no dependents of his own. He answers no to every dependency question. He's a dependent student. Marisol's information is going into this form. Now we're in the parent section. This is where most of the complexity lives, and this is where I want to slow down. The FAFSA pulls tax information directly from the IRS through what's called the Direct Data Exchange, or DDX. For most families, this is automatic. You authorize the connection and it imports your adjusted gross income, taxes paid, and several other fields directly from your most recent filed return. You don't manually type your income, the system does it. But here's where it gets interesting. The imported data is a snapshot of a past tax year. If your financial situation has changed significantly since that return was filed, job loss, income drop, hours cut, a new income source, the form doesn't know that yet. It imports what the IRS has. That gap between what the IRS shows and what your real current situation is, that's what a financial aid appeal is for. But right now, on the FAFSA itself, you fill in what the DDX pulls. Marisol's job change happened mid-year. Her imported income looks higher than her actual current earnings. She notes this carefully. She knows there's a next step after the FAFSA is submitted, but she's not modifying the IRS data manually. She fills in what's accurate per her return and flags it for the appeal process. The asset section is where I see the most accidental errors, and this is the open loop I want you to hold on to. The asset section is where families consistently over-report or under-report, and we're going to break that down completely in a moment. Assets you report include checking and savings account balances, investment accounts, and real estate other than your primary home. Your primary home is excluded. That's a big one.
Retirement accounts, 401ks, IRAs, pensions are also excluded. You do not report those. Small business assets, where the family is the primary owner with fewer than 100 employees, may also be excluded, depending on the specifics. Marisol's household just refinanced. The refinance affected her home equity, but because the primary home is excluded from FAFSA assets, that shift doesn't change her reported asset number at all. She almost listed it. A lot of families do. You don't need to. What you do report. Any savings accounts in the student's name count as student assets, which are assessed at a higher rate in the federal formula than parent assets. If there's money sitting in a student-owned savings account or investment account, that is reported in the student's asset section, not the parent section. Make sure you're putting the amounts in the right fields. Here's a retention checkpoint, because this is the part most people skim and then regret. The school list on the FAFSA has a cap. You can add up to 20 schools per submission. For most families, that's more than enough. But if your student is applying to more than 20 schools, you'll need to submit, let those schools receive the form, then remove some and add the remaining ones. The order of your list doesn't affect aid eligibility at federal schools, but some states prioritize the first school listed when distributing state grant funds. If your state has that rule, put the most important school first. Marisol added 8 schools. She put her son's first choice at the top, partly because of the state aid consideration, partly because she's methodical and it felt right to prioritize. The signature step is often treated like a formality. It's not. Both the student and the contributing parent need to sign using their FSA IDs. If the parent hasn't set up their FSA ID in advance, this step creates a bottleneck. The form just sits there unsigned. The school can't process it. The aid office can't act on it. Set up both FSA IDs before you start the form. And if you're separated or divorced, the contributing parent is the one who lived with the student more in the past 12 months, or, if equal, the one who provided more financial support. That parent signs. Now here's the payoff I've been building toward, the section I said you'd think you could power through. It's the asset section, every time. Not because it's complex in theory, but because it feels like a rounding exercise. People see savings accounts and they enter a ballpark number. They forget about a secondary savings account. They include retirement funds that are excluded. They miss a student-owned investment account entirely. They either over-report, which lowers the expected family contribution calculation in your favor. Actually, no, higher reported assets reduce your aid. Or they under-report and then face a verification request that delays everything. Marisol spent the most time here, not because she was confused, but because she was careful. She pulled every account statement, cross-referenced the exclusion list, and entered everything to the dollar. That's the move. The asset section rewards the people who slow down. If you want the exact documentation checklist, around 7 to 8 items, and a worksheet that walks you through the asset fields in sequence so you don't miss anything, I built that into the pack at FAFSA-appeal.com. It's the executable version of what we just walked through. Fill it in, use it alongside the form. If this video helped you actually understand what you're clicking through, a like helps YouTube show it to other families in the same position. And there are more videos on this channel covering what to do after you submit, including how to appeal if the aid award doesn't reflect your real situation. You don't have to figure this out alone. The form is fillable, the instructions are navigable, and now you know exactly where to slow down.